Hi Gemini, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your June 16th to the 30th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps this channel out, and you guys make me so happy. So thank you so much for being here, tuning in, and for doing so. Now, if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from your body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. This one. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Gemini, June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to the 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Now the bottom is our rooted self. The left is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. Let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Prince of Swords and we have the Princess of Swords. So we're definitely coming through as a powerhouse. We're represented by the swords in the minor arcana. We're represented by the lovers in the major arcana. Here with the prince and the princess, there's a sense of learning. There's a sense of developing. There's also a sense of adventure. So when the king and the queen come into play, it's more of a kind of like I've seen it energy, like an adult energy, like I've seen it, I've been there, I have this wisdom. With the prince and the princess, they're still developing, they're still growing and seeing and understanding. So that's going to be a very important factor for us during this time and at our root. In our inner self, we have here the Eight of Wands, which is communication, it says here, but it's also change. Things are changing really fast. And then we have the Sun, which is happiness, joy, success, beauty, prosperity. It's the happiest card in the whole entire deck. It also is the time where people will take you by eyes, where people will stand and say, you know what, you can't do it. I want this. You know, they try to sabotage you because you are radiating success and they feel like they are not. They feel like they're not there. You stole something from them. So do be mindful of that. With our heart, we have the devil. That makes perfect sense. We have the Two of Cups, the minor arcana Lovers card. So a sense of a shadow of ourselves is coming into play here. And then we have the Four of Cups. A gift coming forward that we're not really seeing. It doesn't feel like a gift when we're giving it. And it has, when we're given it by divinity. And it has something to do with this devil energy when it comes to, when it comes to ourselves, when it comes to breaking free. This is also Capricorn energy, time frame December 22nd to January 19th. This can be breaking free and healing from past wounds. It could be from a Capricorn, but it's also going to be breaking free and healing from past wounds of thinking, this is what I'm supposed to be. This is what everybody says is right. And now we're starting to say, well, what about me? What do I want? What do I need? We have the Empress and we have the King of Wands. So the King of Wands represents fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Empress represents nurturing, creativity, bringing something forward into the world that hasn't been before. And that's going to be very powerful for us. And the way that we're moving forward in our strength, in our identity, in what we desire from our life. Let's look at the chakra energy. Gemini. June 16th to 30th, 2021, Gemini. June 16th to 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Peace. The crown chakra here, coming through with peace. We want peace. We want a sense of purpose and peace and beauty and harmony to be our guide during this time. Our chakra energy, which is telling us what we're going to have a hard time with, which we can see within our heart, is centering on that peace, finding that peace, moving forward in that peace, saying, this is my beauty, this is my security, this is my love, this is my joy, this is what I desire from my life. And peace is what we need to quite literally crown ourselves with. So if you can visualize a crown before you, a beautiful velvet box, and see yourself opening up that box and taking out that crown and placing it on your head. That crowning of peace, that crowning of harmony, that crowning of blessings. Because I'm staying centered, I'm staying focused within myself. The ego isn't taking over. Can we move forward that way? Can we touch that crown and put it on our heads? What does that crown look like to us? What is our sense of peace and beauty? Or is our crown broken and rusted? Is our crown, shattered into a million pieces? Can we not touch it? Because there's something in us that says, you don't deserve peace. There's always going to be chaos. There's always going to be hardship. There's always going to be disappointment, because you've only deserved that. How are we punishing ourselves? And how can we free ourselves from that punishment, is what divinity is saying. Now, the spirit energy that we need to be mindful of during this time. So let's see the energy that we need to be mindful of. What is the energy that Gemini needs to be mindful of? June 16th to 30th, 2021, Gemini. What is the energy that Gemini needs to be mindful of? June 16th to 30th, 2021, Gemini. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. The Queen of Swords, ourselves. So the prince and the princess, they are not as developed as the queen, right? They come through in the imagery as young, and here with the queen, she's older, she's more mature. There is a sense that when we look at things, we also should not be so hard on ourselves, so absolutely, unrelentingly practical. Because as air sign energies, that's what we can be. Maybe not as practical as people, maybe not practical in the way the rest of the world thinks of practical, but we cut to the heart of the matter. We cut to the essence of it, and we say, give me that. And this is a time where we need to trip, we need to fall, we need to discover, we need to see, we need to understand, we need to kind of see how the thing gets put together, instead of saying, okay, I get it. Take time to look at its creation. The Queen of Swords is in her element. She's being pushed back by the wind, but we have to be mindful not to be haughty, and not to be drawn to people who are haughty, not to be drawn to people who are know-it-alls, who talk really, really well. They will talk really well. Their follow-through, their insight, their understanding, it's not going to be on the same level as the speech for which they are able to produce. So do be mindful of that during this time, because that's going to be a trap. It's going to be just a calling that says, ooh, this is the answer, this is the intensity, this is the provocativeness that I'm looking for, or the power that I'm looking for. And it's not. It's going to be mostly bluster and bluff and an empty show. At our root, the Prince of Swords. The Prince of Swords has wings. The Prince of Swords moves astoundingly fast. There's a sense of triumph and victory and focus and dedication. But there's also a sense of not wanting to do all the steps, of saying, I can cut corners just a bit, it'll be fine, everything will be able to work out. And what we're going to see here is that's just not the case. When we're moving forward, we're going to be hyper-focused on goals. We have to make sure that those goals are not, I'll prove you wrong. Sometimes the I'll prove you wrong is a really good thing. And we get to be focused on the, I got this, I'll prove you wrong, I'll go after what I need, right? But when we make showing everybody else that they're wrong into our main goal, we forget what we want, what we desire, where we want to be, how we want to move forward. So during this time with the Knight of Swords, there's this real sense of being our own hero, of looking at it and saying, well, what do I want? What do I need? How can I come in to this situation and be the quintessential white knight, be the hero of the tale? And how do I get to be at peace and purely aligned with my inner self, with what I desire, what I want? How do I get to be honest with myself in a way that maybe I don't want to be? And that's where the Princess of Swords comes in. The Princess of Swords is an honesty. Now remember, also, the swords are a weapon. And yes, when you were practicing to learn a sword, you weren't given a sword first and foremost. As some of you have pointed out, you are given a staff. And then you would learn on the staff. And then when you became able to know the staff, you would then move on to a blunt practice sword, and then you would move on to a real sword. So there were steps. But swords are the sign of nobility. Swords are the weapons of nobility. And the worst that could happen when you had a staff is that you would break your fingers, you might be hit too hard and break a bone. With a sword, you were cut open, and the wound could fester, and it was just bad. So there definitely is a difference between a staff, a wand, and a sword, most powerfully. The sword was forged, the sword took time and effort and engineering to advance in. Not that the whittling of a wand didn't, but it didn't have to take as much. So here with the Page of Swords, we have the only weapon within the tarot, the only true, undeniable, can't be anything else weapon. It's not a walking stick, it's not anything else. It is purely a weapon. And so here with this weapon, what we're looking at is, how do I use it? How do I use the power of my mind? Because the swords representing air represent the mind, represent communication, represent, the tongue and words. So when they say this, the tongue can be a sword, the tongue can cut. It's true, it can. What is it that I'm developing? What is it that I've done that I'm not proud of? What is it that I've done that I'm super proud of? How is it that I'm moving forward? Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I desire? And the princess, she looks at these things. She isn't going to be necessarily as action prone as the prince, because she doesn't have wings. Things are going to take her a little bit more. He can fly over the trouble, and she's going to have to look at things. And she has this scroll in her hand. So what is it that she's thinking? What is it that we're thinking? What is it that we want? What's the greater power that we're moving towards? Because as we're working everything out, and as we're fighting our good fight, and as we're looking at things in a new way, everything in our inner self, it starts to pick up. We have to communicate where it is that we want to go, but the change, it happens quickly. The Eight of Wands can sweep us away with it. It just can. It's like, this is where I'm heading, this is where I'm going, this is what I want, this is what I need, or this is the change that's happening in my life. Hold on. It's just pushing me forward. And so with the Eight of Wands, we have to look at that honestly and powerfully for ourselves and say, how is it and where is it in my life that I feel like I don't have the control that I want? Where I feel like things are overwhelmed, or where I feel like I'm being swept away, or where I feel like time is just moving in a very odd manner. Because we're being swept away, and we also need to focus on our happiness. So there's going to be something here with our heart and the way that we're coming together that feels like, is this right for me? Am I moving forward in the right way? Do I know what it is that I desire? Do I know where it is that I want to be? Questioning, seeking, understanding, and then the happiness comes in. This radiance, this beauty. Am I being swept away from this happiness? Am I trying to follow this happiness and not exactly knowing how? With the devil at our heart, there is something that's holding us back, because the devil is a corruption of the lovers, right? And so here, and we're represented by the lovers in the major arcana. Here, when happiness comes in, joy, success, prosperity, bounty, this radiance that comes from us, that people see and are inspired by, we need to look at that energy and say, this is me. This is what I want. This is what I desire. This is what I need. This is who I am. I can let that radiance shine. I can let me shine. And again, people will take us by eyes. People will say the exact right thing at the exact right time to be hurtful and triggering and upsetting, and we will find ourselves as the teenagers that we once were, as the people who weren't in control of situations, or who were just trying to hold on, or even if we're trying to hold on now, it's being brought up, and it's like, wow. And it's so interesting how words can make us feel so small, can make us feel so overwhelmed. And this is a time where we start to see, what is it that keeps me from my happiness, that keeps me from this path, that stops me from moving forward the way that I need to, the way that I want to? How do I let me shine without feeling like I'm doing something wrong? And it brings us to our heart. And our heart, again, it has the devil. And the devil is the corruption. The devil is society's expectations for us, or our family's expectations, or even our own expectations. And thinking, I should be like this. And being chained to something that we're not. Something that is not fruitful, something that is not bountiful, something that is not beautiful for us. And at times we need to step back and say, what is it that's holding me down? What's it that's stopping me? What are my greatest fears? What are my darkest desires? Do they aid or do they hinder? How is it that I'm moving forward? Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I desire? And we look at the chains, and we see that they're loosely placed around our necks. But our hurts and our pains and our disappointments, well, they lay us bare, as we're laid bare right here. And we see what's holding us, what's stopping us. This can be addictions, drugs, alcohol, food, sex, shopping, addictions that are relatively well-known or very well-known. And then it can also be self-doubt, self-deprecation. It could be thinking, I'm not worth more than this. It could be a myriad of things. And now it's time to start to set ourselves free, because where we were chained, now we have the healing coming in. We have the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is this healing, beautiful love that moves us, that guides us, that says, this is unity, this is cleansing, this is me. This is the sacred masculine and sacred feminine coming together, whereas here, they're kept apart. There's this sense of our two halves being kept apart. And that might be emotionally, being ready for a relationship, if we're looking for another person to come into the situation. And it doesn't mean that they have to be a masculine person or a feminine person. What it means is that there's something that's keeping us from connecting. And here comes the unity, here comes the love. And it can even just be the fear. If we grew up in a household that was intense or abusive or, whatever, and we started to see, or we had relationships that traumatized us in one way or another, how do we start to heal? How do we start to trust? And it doesn't mean just romantic relationships. It can be business partners, friendships that left us wanting, left us hurt, left us feeling as if we weren't. And now we're starting to see that we are. And there's a beauty in that. It leads us to the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is a gift coming in that isn't seen, that doesn't feel like a gift. It can be astoundingly overwhelming. It can be years from now where we look at it and be like, oh, okay, that's what that was for. Oh, okay, this is what my heart needed. This is what my soul needed. This is what I desired. We're looking to bring in peace. And during this time, because we're calling in peace, we're going to see situations, we're going to see things that keep that peace held back from us. And that's where we need to let the crown chakra, we need to let our mind, which is what we're ruled by, come forward and carve out new paths. Look at things in a different way. Start to reevaluate the situations. And as the gifts come, again, they don't feel like gifts. They feel like added responsibilities. They can feel like burdens. And this doesn't mean that we should stay in a bad situation or take on a bad situation, because it could become something really good. What it means is that we're being swept forward. We're being swept forward in a way, and inwardly we know this. We're being swept forward in a way, and something is being presented to us. And it's going to become part of our routine, part of our day. And it's challenging, it's overwhelming, it's hard. But it winds up being a really good thing for us. It winds up taking us to the next level. It winds up showing us truths and inner understandings that we hadn't seen before. And it winds up taking us out of just one way of looking at things and saying it has to be like this, and opening up our mindset, opening up what we desire, opening up what we need. And it brings us then to the Empress. In the public arena, we are the nurturers. We are going to be nurturing something. Now, it doesn't mean that we are the nurturers to everybody else, because that's actually not the energy that's around here. Actually, that's going to be very frustrating. There's actually going to be times where if we are nurturing people, if we have to take care of others, if we have children or are raising children and, doing all of this, we could feel resentful. And that's going to be something that we just have to accept. It's going to be the sense of, okay, I'm angry and I'm upset and I'm frustrated. I don't want to, have to take care of my partner or have to take care of my kids or have to take care of any responsibilities. There's going to be times where we just want to go and we just want to create and we just want to be, and we want to be completely and utterly free. But we also want to be powerfully and beautifully connected. So that's going to be a little bit of a battle during this time. The Empress comes in. Now, this could also be finding a mentor, finding somebody who is astoundingly inspiring. That person doesn't have to know we exist at all. They could, though. And this is a time where we start to embrace this change, this understanding, this impact, this passion, this fire, this power that gets to be a part of us. And what's more, we get to be a part of it. What we're doing here is we're bringing forward something that needs to be brought forward. And the birth of it, just as the birth of anything, is not going to be as pleasant as we would like it to be. It's not going to be that magical, mystical experience when we're in the throes of it that you like to read about. This is going to be something that takes time, that takes effort, that's harsh and painful and overwhelming. But in the end it's beautiful. In the end, it is worth it. And it moves us to the King of Wands. It has to do with our fire, with our passion, with our creativity. Now, the wands, there's always a sense of warning with the wands, just as there is with every single sign. But what I'm seeing here is that there could be a fire that burns too bright. So instead of warming, it burns, it ignites. Instead of a nice campfire, it's this blazing barn fire, and it could be too much. So we do have to be mindful of that. If this is a person, which it can very well be, this is somebody that helps inspire us in our career somewhere. In our, not career, so much as in the passion of our hearts and our souls. This could be a side project. This could not be a side project. This is our passion, our understanding, and our beauty coming forward. Here with the King of Wands, there's also a sense of thinking, I have to chase that high. I have to chase that experience, that feeling, very much like the Prince of Swords. I want to reach for the height. I want to reach for it all. And so we have to be very mindful of that. This could also be a pleasure-seeking time where we think, oh, what's the pleasure in it? How is it like exciting or exhilarating? Or, it's the erotic understanding, but taken just a little bit too far. We can take things just a little bit too far during this time. So be mindful of that and step back and say, what is it that I want? What is it that I need? Where is it that I'm heading? What is it that I desire? And seeing that within us and seeing that around us and saying, okay. Because once we kind of rein ourselves back, then we become the tiger. Then we become the apex hunter that sees its goal and goes after it with a ferocity and an intensity that after stalking, well, not stalking in like the real sense, but in the sense that the tiger stalks his prey. In the sense of, I've built towards this. I've meticulously and, powerfully looked at the angles of things and what I desire. Now I can move forward. Now I can go after what I need, what I want, what it is that inspires me, what it is that doesn't inspire me. And there's a passion and a power and a ferocity to me that I nurture and I bring forward. And if we can do that, we can see that in the public arena, we can almost be unstoppable, but we really have to be mindful of our addictions, of the things that kind of drag us off path. And that can be, detrimental to us. Our subconscious chakra message is communication. This is the throat chakra. We need to embrace our communication, our throat chakra, the way that we express ourselves, what we desire, what we want, what we need, and everything in between. We also have to know that we're not just communicating with the words that are being said. We're looking at everything. And so when we're looking at everything, we're communicating on a different level than maybe the person we're communicating with. So they might not know that they're projecting that they just had a fight with their boyfriend and they're completely angry and upset, or, they're super intense with this one thing, and we're picking up the energy and we're thinking, oh, what did I do? So with the communication, knowing that we're communicating on different levels, knowing that we're seeing people on different levels, and when to step back from somebody and say, you know what, that's not what I need to deal with. That's not what I want to deal with. I'm sticking to my task and now moving forward. That's going to be really important, Gemini, during this time. Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the star. This is Aquarius energy, January 20th to February 18th. This is also letting our dreams get a little bit too big. And I know people say you can never dream too big or, want too much. But sometimes we can. And sometimes our dreams become so overpowering, so intense, so much bigger than we are at that moment, that they start to become frightening. They start to become overwhelming. They start to become all that we can see and focus on. And this is saying here, look at what it is that we desire and let spirit guide the way. Let the stars guide us, and instead of letting the stars become what consumes us. Our subconscious rooted message is the Four of Cups. Again, a blessing coming in that creates something beautiful, but that we hadn't expected. In this wasteland right here, do you expect the rose? Do you think that the all-powerful eye that is looking on expected that? Or that the man expected that? There is something of surprise here, and it's an unveiling a surprise. Our subconscious inner self is the Queen of Pentacles. Prosperity, success, bounty, not disappointment, decision. But there is going to be a bit of disappointment. It says growth here. And there's a sense of moving in a way that we hadn't expected, that we might not have wanted, like thought a little bit different of. And so with the Queen of Pentacles, we're looking at our passion, our power, our purpose, what we desire. And we're calling it into our lives in a very real, very intense, very present way. And we have to look at the nurturing of it, not just in the, I want it now type of thing. Subconsciously, we're going to be richer than we realize. And we're going to have more going for us. And people are going to be able to see it. The powerful thing and the interesting thing is if we can see it ourselves. Our subconscious emotional message is the Nine of Pentacles. It's time to enjoy what we have right now. Not looking towards the future, not looking towards the past. It's looking at what we have right now. And it's knowing that, yes, there's a whole bunch of hard work to come. But the beauty of a moment is important. Even if that moment is hard and overwhelming, even if we're dog dead tired, we've been on our feet all day long, and it's just enough is enough. To be able to sit down, have a hot chocolate, have a cup of tea, whatever it is that you like, and connect. Connect with yourself. Connect with the moment that you're building towards more. Connect with the moment where you're making big decisions and you're thinking, how do I move myself to the place that I want to be? Connecting in a moment where you just get to be and breathe and enjoy. It moves us to the subconscious public arena. And that message is the Fool. With all this power, with all this intensity, it's time to take that leap of faith. It's knowing that, yes, I will fall. There will be moments of failure and hurt and pain and disappointment, because that's what life is about. But there will also be beautiful, lovely moments that are beyond comprehension. and just absolutely exquisite. And subconsciously, in the public arena, we want more. And that's what we're birthing forward with the Empress. All right, Gemini. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power of us and our connection with divinity, with spirit, and the power of the unknown. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Gemini.